Two Sheds Cabby. Hey guys, it is Tuesday morning. I usually don't get out and do my banking until Thursday. I wanted to take a different route today. I'm at a branch. This is my second branch today. This is a branch I belong to, but I almost never go to this branch. I asked if they had a box of nickels. They said, yeah. They came back with a customer roll without the box. So they gave me this big bag, which is cool. And I asked if they had $50, and they said, we sell them by the roll. I was expecting the new sealed rolls, and I got $100 worth. And he said I could get 50 or 100 worth, so I got 100. I'm getting ready to cross what we call the Butter Bridge. It's about 100 years old, and a couple years ago, they cleaned it up.
Continue on US 31 North for 1 mile.
Did some work on it, and then painted it this butter color. A few months ago, there was a terrible accident on this bridge. Crossing the Ohio River. I've done all my banking today in southern Indiana, and now I'm going to cross the Butter Bridge and go back across and go to that same branch. I got the 10 rolls earlier, and I'm hoping they'll let me get another 10 rolls. That would be nice. Back over the Ohio River. So I was out yesterday. This is Two Sheds. And on Tuesday, I'm not normally my my bank day, but I wanted to go to some different branches. My wife had a bunch of planting and plants she wanted to do, and I wanted to go do some branches that I don't usually go to over on the other side of the Ohio River. And I wanted to get, while I was out taking a bunch of coins back, I wanted to pick up a box of nickels. And the first bank that I went to that said they had a box of nickels for me, they went back to get them, but then they came back with this. And I'm like, what's going on? And then they showed me it's not like a sealed bank box. This is customer roll. And later in that day, I did pick up a box, regular bank box. But I wanted to just zip through these real quick. Normally, I'll do a box of pennies, and then I'll do a box of nickels, that sort of thing. And I did a nickel box a couple days ago. But tomorrow's my Thursday. This is Wednesday. And I'm going to go back and pick up the $50 and things I always get. And I wanted to make sure I had at least one bag of coins to return. And I wanted to go through these real quick. They may be great. They may be nothing. But I'm going to try to go through these. I got these at a downtown branch, which probably means it's from some retail store. So it's probably random. But we'll see. I'll get into these and we'll see pretty quickly what we've got. It just occurred to me that in the last box that I went through, when I got all those 24s and 25s, I didn't get my Canadian that I almost always get. But here in the first row, I come to my Canadian that I normally get. I'm liable to get a few more. Haven't seen anything old or... No. Oh, I just now came to my first one. A 2025 P. Hopefully that means I'll get 25s and even 24s in this box of, these rolls of customer roll. That would be neat. $20.25. $20.24. How about that? Looks like I may be getting both. That's really cool. I just didn't know what to expect. And so hopefully, I don't know how many I'll get, but looks like I'm going to be getting some anyway. And that is a very welcome sight. I'm in the second row, and here again is 2025. I guess that's my third one of those already. Pretty cool. So I did have one more story to tell you about my South Carolina. Oh, there's a 2024 P number 2. Oh, I wonder if I'll get a D in this one. That'd be really neat. One more story about my time in South Carolina working on the silos. Oh, look at that. There's an old one even. 1947 Philadelphia. How about them apples? I'm getting everything. And Okay, so we use this 2025 high pressure concrete called gunite that we would spray on the walls. 2025. Oh my goodness. And it really high pressure hose. I mean, if it got away from me, it'd kill you. You know, it'd beat on you and kill you, especially in a confined area of the silo. Another 2025. Crazy. Let me get into the next row and I'll finish my whole story. All right, here's the next row. So I'm the new guy on the block, the guy that I worked with the most that did this 2024 that did the spraying, and he knew how to stack it evenly and start thick at bottom and thin it out as you went up. And I was the grunt guy. I would hold the hose steady behind him, and I mean you had to hold that thing steady so that he could hold on to the nozzle and spray it, if that makes any sense. I was holding the grunt of the pressure coming through the tube, the pipe, the hose, whatever you want to call it. And he had the nozzle at the end spraying it. These are stuck together. And you couldn't let go, no way, or you're badly hurt or killed. Some of these are stuck together, kind of yucky. And while you're in there, and it's 120, 125 degrees very frequently in these silos. And flies, big horse flies. And it's so hot, I'm sleeveless. I've got a cut-off shirt, and I'm in there holding it. And these flies will land on your arm, and they start biting, and it's not pleasant. And, the amount of time that you're in there varies on how bad the silo condition is. You might be in there at one stance for over 30 minutes frequently. And by the time I would be done, often, I would have streams of blood pouring down my arms from these flies biting on my arms. And it was pleasant when we could cut it off and swat those flies and get out of there for a little while. Yeah, it was a hard, dirty, rough job. But, as a young man, you can handle things like that. If they ask me today if I'm interested, I'd say, you gotta be nuts. Is that a 4? I think it is. Oh, come on. Yeah, 2024P, cool. I'm in the 4th row now. Hey, I just came across this 1946. It's in pretty nice shape. Yeah, that's not near as much wear as a lot of them I get from this age. You definitely don't have full steps. But that's pretty nice for 1946. It was a Philadelphia. So how many of these 24s and 5s will we get in this box? There's another 24. That's 5 of them already. And 6 25s. Oh, now we're tied up. Is it going to be another race? 6 of each. 24 and 25s. There's a 25, 7 of those. Making sure it was a P. In the next row, I did get one 2024P. I think that ties me up at 7, but lots of them were stuck together and dirty and yucky. Man, I hope this doesn't become a thing in these rolls. I hate that. It's yucky. So the first bunch of rolls, I was going through these right here. And I just noticed that this bunch right here, they're all taped at the ends, which I suspect means that they came from a different person that rolled them up, because you know, just naturally, these weren't taped, these were. So, anyway, so I stopped these. I just pulled one out of these for the fun of it. And there was nothing old, no 24s or 25s. So, it may be that this group here was returns from a collector. I don't know yet, but all the other rolls had at least one of the 24s or 5s. So it's just speculation, kind of early. But, this, I cut the addresses off. One of you guys sent me some money for some coins that we had made an agreement with, and he sent me all these stamps. That was pretty cool to see that in the mailbox like that. I went back to the earlier rolls I was going through. I'm coming to these dirty, yucky things, and I've already unstuck a couple. I have found a 2024. I think that makes 8 of them, which that's cool. But I hope that all these rolls aren't going to be dirty and yucky like this. That would be disappointing for sure. Nice. So if that one set of taped ones, oh, look at these, it's gross. If they don't have any 24s or 25s in them, then I'm probably not going to get a roll of each in this, we'll call it a box of, even though I didn't get a box of customer roll. That looks like that was the only one in this roll. All right, now I'm in the next row of that same group, and I come to a 2024P, and I see Canadian number 2 right back there. And do you know what this 2024P is? This is number 9, 1981 Canadian nickel. Number 10, that means double digits. That's very cool. I like putting these guys away. I can sell them now and make money, or hold on to them and see if they increase in value. Number 11, hey. Just between you and number 12. Wow. I like finding the 25s, but just between you and me, I like the 24s better because they're lower mintage. This is the 8th row in that one set, plus I went through one from the other set. So this is the 9th row so far, and here is 2025P number 8. Number 8. So today's Wednesday, and I lead the Bible class tonight at our Bible study. And I've already spent about 3.5 hours this morning and afternoon preparing for my lesson to make sure I'm ahead. I write down notes of things that we're going to say as we're going through the book. We're going through the book of Genesis right at the end, just a couple chapters to go. And I have reference books and commentaries and stuff that I look up, just trying to get more information. And I make notes. And my fear is that I will run out of, there's 2025, number 9. I'll run out of notes before I run out of time. And so I try to stay way ahead of the game. And so a lot of the stuff that I prepared today, I probably won't get to tonight, and that's good because I don't want to run out. And then next week it'll be the same thing. I will prepare stuff that I won't get to that night. That's 14. And so that's just an ongoing thing. So an hour or so before we leave, I'll go back and look through again the stuff that will definitely be tonight's, to have that fresh in my head. But after 3.5 hours, my brain was like, I got to quit for a little while. Okay, the next row, and here's 2025P, number 10. Double digits for these guys. Yay. Pretty cool. $1942. That does not look silver, does it? It does not have that look too. And it's not. 42 Philadelphia. I haven't gotten a 42 silver in a pretty long time, I don't believe. Oh, there's 24P, number 13. So we're 3 ahead on the 24s. Over the 25s. There's a 1948. I think an S would be a semi-key date. And it's a Philadelphia. Everything of the old ones so far are Philadelphia. Everything is Philadelphia so far. This box must have come from Philadelphia. Anything else? Maybe this one? Nope. This is the last row in that set of 10. And here's 2024P, number 14. 14 of them. I probably will not finish before Bible study because it's 4:15, and in just a little bit, I'm going to have to stop and get myself cleaned up and ready for class, and then I will take a little bit of time to go over my notes. There is a 2024P that's not been, it's been around the block a few times, you know what I mean? I don't think he's been in the dancing in the blender or nothing like that, but there's another one. That is number 15 of those. And I see a 2025, two 2025s there and there. That is 11 and 12. How about that? I have a story that I want to tell. And I kind of want to tell it before I go because I don't want to forget. There's number 13. Wow, man. I like it. I like it a lot. I'll try to get started in the next row. Okay, this is the the next row of those that were taped up, and we'll see if anything comes in these. Any new ones or old ones or anything like that. So I was asked by a person, you said you spend a lot of time in the South, whatnot. Have you ever come across any stories of Bigfoot or like flying saucers, alien type stuff? And my answer to that is no. I have not. When I lived in Texas, they did have at the mall, they had a great big display where people that came to the mall could walk around the hallway inside the mall, and they had all these displays about past sightings of aliens and stuff like that. It was kind of cheesy, but anyway, it was fascinating, I guess. Anyway, I have a story. I told this person, I said, I have not had that happen, but I have a story to tell, and you can decide if you think it's interesting or not. And so this story is for Pierre. And I may have even told this one a few years ago, but I'm going to tell it again. Years ago, look. There is a 2025, so that may not be the case for these that are taped up. Maybe I will come across more. That's number 14 of those. Cool. So anyway, years ago, my family owned a farm, and it got sold, unfortunately. But me and a buddy of mine, we were late teens, I would guess, something like maybe 20. There's another 2025, cool. Something like it, early in life. And we decided late in an afternoon that we wanted to shoot down to the farm and just camp out and goof off and shoot our guns and whatnot for a couple of days. And so we just threw a few things together and took off down there. And it was well night before we got there. And we're driving down this country road, and both of us had mentioned the fact that we needed to use do number one. And so we had to pee. Let me get to the next row, and I'll continue with the story. Okay, next row. So we just stopped the car in the road in our lane, There's another one, 2025. They may have caught up. We'll count them at the end. And so we just stepped out in front of the car, right in the middle of the road, and we're 2024, cool. And we're both, just standing there in the road, peeing. We've done that. The road I grew up on was very little used, so all of us friends, he was the guy that lived across the street from me. And so we peed in the road all the time as kids. It meant nothing to us. 2024, there's another one. Well, that's great. I was kind of thinking I wouldn't find them in this set of 10. There's a 5. Am I going to get to finish my story? So anyway, while we are standing there peeing in the road, unbelievable, overhead of us, shooting stars, asteroids, whatever you call them, crisscrossed overhead of us, one going one way, one going the other. It was amazing. It was like we're both looking at each other like, did you see that? Like, yeah, I saw that. And we were still in astonishment talking about it when a few seconds later, a bird fell out of the sky right next to us, dead as a doornail. And we looked at each other like, holy cow, what is this? What is going on? It creeped us out. We're young men. And like, that's just plumb crazy. And so we quickly hopped in our cars and got out of there. We took off. But that was just bizarre. To this day, I don't know if it ever meant anything or not, but it sure was an odd occurrence in our life. And so for Pierre, if you think that means anything, you let me know. But that's what happened. I'll get these counted up, and I'll let you know in the next row where we stand on these things, on the 24s and 25s. Okay, guys, I'm in the next row. The 25s have taken the lead. We have 19 25s and 17 24s. How about that? There was a bunch of 25s in the last row there. Continue with the story. That story's kind of over, but that same night we got to the farm, and it was pretty late. And when you get to the farm, this was the farm that my dad grew up on, that I was there lots and lots as a child. When you pull into the little roadway, and immediately there's a driveway and a house off to the right, and you go on down the little gravel road, and there's another house off to the right, 2024P. And then you go a little bit past that, and you come to a fence, and there's a gate there, that's 2025. And when you cross the gate, it separates out to two directions. There's another 25, and there's a roadway that goes a sharp turn to the left that goes down to the river, Green River, and then kind of straight goes up on top of the big hill. We called it Reedy Point, way up on top of the hill. It was a pretty, it's still a good ways before you got there. But even farther to the right of that was a great big field, and at one time was a pasture, but at this particular time it wasn't being used as a pasture. And then you'll go beyond that and you get into the woods and all that sort of stuff. And so it's pretty late and it's real dark. And so we just stopped the car right there at the gate. And we get out and we've gathered a few things up and we walk through the field, but you can't hardly even tell where you're going. And it ain't like I was there all the time like I was as a kid. So, and we were tired. So right there in the middle of the field, we said, let's just lay down and go to sleep and we'll get up tomorrow and set up camp. Okay, the next row, guys. I think after this row, I'm going to quit. Yeah, I got to go get ready. We are at right here, makes 22 2025s, and we're at 18 in the 2024. So the 2025s have really come out and taken over. And so that's what we did. We just laid down in the grass. We each had a gun on us. I used to carry a 32 revolver and a 22 rifle, Marlin, an old Marlin, beautiful old gun. I still have it. And I don't remember what he had. He may have even had one of mine with him. So we were laying there, each of us have a gun in hand as we're laying there to sleep. There's another 24, 19 of those. And sometime during the night, a beast of burden came along, and you could not see. It was so dark. It was just, it must have been cloudy or something, because at this point, you couldn't hardly see a thing. It was so dark. So it wasn't a super starry night with the moon. I guess probably there was no moon. Is probably the reason for that. And it was a pretty heavy animal. It came up to us and just kind of, and you didn't hear it snorting or grunting or nothing, but it walked around us. And we have no idea what it was. But we didn't even know if the other one was awake. But I was just sitting there, had my gun really ready to pounce if need be. And finally the animal walked around us and then walked away. And one of us, I don't remember who it was, there's another 24, by the way. One of us said to the others, did you hear that? And we responded, yes. We were both pretty nervous about that one because, there's foxes and coyotes and dogs and who knows what all. There wasn't any bears or nothing like that down there. And it could have just been a deer. Very easily could have just been a deer that just come walking around. 54, Philadelphia. That's because they're all from Philadelphia. Another 24. Well, they're sure catching back up. And that's it, guys. I've got to quit here and go get ready. And I will try to finish up tonight when I get back. Hey, folks. We are back home. I've already changed back into my hang around the house comfy clothes. And this is the first row. I'm scratching my leg from a mosquito bite. And here is a 1939. Once again, we come to a 39, and we hope to see a D or an S on the back. Will it happen? It will not. I mean, I really should have known better in this box because they're all Philadelphia, right? This box came from Philadelphia. Somebody drove from Philadelphia to my bank and dropped it off. Oh, there we go. This puts me at 22 of the 2024s, and I'm at 22. No, this puts me at 23, one back ahead of the 2025s. It's like the last box. The race is definitely on. 2024 tied back up again. Pretty funny. I might get a whole roll of each. That'd be superb. Yeah, you just never know what to expect from customer rolls. But I think this is just random rolls, from retail. Once again, the next roll in here is 2024P number 24. Puts them back in the lead. I don't know if I said, but it's like 8:30, 8:40 in there. Home from the Bible study. When when we are finished and we're all going home, people come up to me and go, "You do such a good job." There's 2025 tied back up again. And I often feel like they're clearly just being polite. I, I don't feel like I do that great of a job. I have met people, in my opinion, 2024, they're back in the lead, who I feel like do more superior than me, 2024 P. But I thank them just the same. And we do, we do, I think, enjoy ourselves during the class and talk about a lot of different stuff. I pause here and there trying to keep up with where I'm at in my notes because they just don't flow as fluid for me as some people. And here is another 2024P. The last row didn't have any. It's first in a little while. But this row, this is actually the 19th row that I've gone through, or that I'm going through. And this will be number 28 for the 24s, and we're at 24 of the 25s. So the 4s have taken the lead. Oh, there's another one. Another 24. I'm right close to the end of the 20th row, and here is number 25 of the 25s. And there is number 30 of the 24s. Cool. I'm now in the 21st row, or the very next row, and here's the 2025P. And this makes 26, and I have 30 of the 24s, so the 24s are still 4 ahead. Well, no, now they're 5 ahead again. I'm going to take a break after this row. You won't even know. Oh, there's another, golly, another 25. I'm just going to go sit with my wife for a little while because she's going to go to bed. And after a bit, it's 8:45, and she goes to bed at 10 or sooner. And so I'm going to just go sit with her for a bit, and then I'll finish up after she goes to bed. And there is another 2025. They're trying to catch back up. And there is another one. I think they're just one behind now. Oh my goodness. I do believe that's 30 of each. No, I think the 24s have 31. And that spells COIN, and you are not it. While I was out yesterday, I found, this is what I found in the return machines: 74 cents and a couple of Canadian coins and a washer. Okay, I'm back from my little break. It's about a minute or two after 10 p.m. And this 2025 right here in the 22nd row evens us up at 31 each. We are watching a show called Our Zoo. It's a British show based on a true story about a guy who was injured in World War I, and he had shell shock and was struggling to deal with life after the war. And somewhere along the way, he gets this, oh, there's 2024 taking the lead again with 32. And he decides to open up a zoo, kind of a refuge for unwanted animals, amongst other things, and just the struggles that they go through to get this thing started. And I think it's a mini series, and we've seen 3 episodes now. Pretty fascinating. On BritBox. 23rd row and 2025 just catches back up once again at 32. each. And it is not even halfway through the box yet. We're already at over 30 each. At this rate, we're going to have well above what we need for a roll of each one. I mean, things could change, but it's looking like we're going to get a roll of each one and better. There, 2025 just took the lead. Now the 24th row in 2024 just catches back up, 33 each. There is a couple of dark ones. I don't know if there's any luck there. Probably not, but it'd be really amazing if one of those could be silver. But I doubt it. 33 each. Nope, not that one. What's that? 1974. Too bad. We're going to go tomorrow. Have y'all guys ever heard of a pachinko machine? I had a pachinko machine years ago, and somehow or another, it wasn't working right, and my son took it to this guy who said he could fix it. I don't know. We never got it back. It's been, 15, 20 years. And I just ran across one on Marketplace, and I've talked to the guy. This one's not working either, but now my son repairs pinball machines, so he's got it for a good price, so I'm going to go buy it in the morning. Last row now in the first half of this here box. We'll call it a box, even though it ain't a box. 2024P, and this puts them in the lead with 34. Oh, the last row, I thought I was at the end of the row, and then after I turned off my camera here, I saw there was two more coins sitting there. Oh, there's another 2024, puts them up by 2. And there was a 1949, but as you might have guessed, it was a Philadelphia. Oh, 2025. The lead is now just 1. Crazy how they go back and forth. Oh, ain't that crazy? We're tied. That's wild. We're now in the second half of this box. And here's 2024P, number 36, in the lead. Well, guys, it happens this Saturday. I turned 65 years old. What a milestone. I remember as a youngster, back in the late 60s, early 70s, I thought the year 2000 will never get here. I'll be 40 years old. I never could imagine that would ever happen. And now here it is 25 years later, and there's another 2024. And it's going to be my birthday come Saturday, Lord willing, if I make it that far. Next row, and 2025 is now only down by 1. So my wife was asking, nope, now they're even again. Well, my wife was asking me what I want, and we were talking about it. And I said, I guess, if you feel like it, make me a cake or something. She was, what kind? And I said, I don't know, lemon. Here's 2024. They've gone back in the lead. And let me back up. When my father was still alive, back years and years and years ago, somebody made a carrot cake and said something about it where he worked, and he thought, my dad said, that sounds terrible. Here's another 2024, up by 2. And the guy said, you just got to try it and see. And he brought it in, and my dad fell in love with it. and he asked for the recipe, and the guy gave it to him. And my mom started making it, and my dad loved them. Look at that. I think they're tied again. I'll tell you more on the next row. All right, a couple rows later, and we come to 2025. Here it is, folks, number 40. A roll of 2025s. How about that? Well, it started to become kind of a tradition that my mom would make my dad a carrot cake for his birthday. And somewhere along the road, I don't remember how it came about, but my wife started taking over for my mom. And so every year my wife would make my dad his carrot cake. And we were moving about there was a time or two in there, I think, that we missed it. But most years, she would make his carrot cake for him. And now my dad's been gone for a few years. We haven't had a carrot cake since he's been gone. And my wife's like, what do you think of the idea of you taking over the tradition of the carrot cake every year for your birthday? And I'm like, oh my, that's a lovely idea. I can enjoy the carrot cake and remember my dad every year of my birthday. It's a great idea. So starting my 61st birthday, that is going to be our new tradition. My wife will make me carrot cake for my birthday. Pretty exciting. I've invited my brother. I don't think my kids are able to come down this weekend, which is kind of a drag, but, life goes on. But I feel certain my mom will come over. Unless she already has plans that I didn't know about. Here's another 2025. They are in the lead by 2 now. 3. No. Yeah, the 24s have 39. And the 25s have 42. 43. Some of the other box, all the 25s look brand new. These have been handled a little bit. Kind of interesting. All right, guys, there are now, after this row, 20 rolls left. So here's 2025P number 44 in this box. Oh, there's another one. Wowzers. I think we're going to eat some meatballs. And oh, my wife also makes an amazing German potato salad. All very authentic German potato salad. And she's going to make that too. Going to be a feast. There's another 2025. Wow, they're really jumping out ahead. I think that's 46 to 39 now. Oh, there's a 24. There, here we go. This is now a full row of 2024s. Number 40 for them. That's pretty exciting. There's another 2024 right there. Man, I tell you, I could turn around and sell these for good profit right now, but I'm going to hold on to them for a while. I'm going to just start putting some rolls away. Next roll, and here is another 2024. That makes 42 of that one. I have them rolled up now. And I just checked, and that's all the nickel rolls I have left in my box. I got a box full of rolls and stuff, and that's all I got left in nickels. So while I'm at the bank tomorrow, I've got to ask for another big stack of those. Another 2024. So if any of you guys have Facebook, and every now and then something will pop up. They'll say, remember back when, something like that. I just got a picture. This is so funny. Of my dad went to an event that my dad was at, and it is a picture of my wife's potato salad. And so here it is. German potato salad. And there was another 2024 there, by the way. So the 2024s are still 2 behind, it looks like. Oh, I believe it's getting ready to be 3 behind. Nope, that's a 23. In case you didn't know, the potato salad is on the left. Yeah, the potato salad's on the left. Not as many old ones, but there's another 2024. Now there's just one separating them. The next roll got 2 more 2024 Ps, and that puts me up by 1. That puts the 24s up by 1, 47 to 46. Guys, when I started this box, I never dreamed it was going to take this long. I really wanted to get finished tonight because it takes me, a couple hours to edit it, and I wanted to have everything done and loaded on YouTube in the morning before I left. So I'm going to go through some of these rolls, and I'm just going to kind of tell you where I'm at, who's in the lead, okay? If I come across anything different, I'll definitely break in and show you. But I'm going to go through a few rolls, then come back and tell you where we're at. And I try to get through it a little bit quicker. I want you all to see who wins because I think it's a little bit fun. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I think this is the 5th roll I was going through since I made that last comment. And this is the very first one that's older than 1960. And it's a 1941, and you can almost bet it's Philadelphia. Don't it figure? This one's a Denver. It's the first one of the old ones that was something other than Philadelphia. And it had to be when I predicted it, right? Don't contradict me in front of my friends. Oh, and while we were going through them, I did find 4 more 2025s and 11 more 2024s. Wow, that puts the 2024s 10 ahead. They've got 60, and the 2025s have 50. Wow. It's running away, and that's okay. I like the 24s a little bit better. I was wrong. That put the 24s at 58 and the 25s at 50. I added 2 on. Other than that, I'm perfectly all right. 2 rolls later, I come to a 1947, and I've got 2 of each, 24 and 25, besides this guy. And he is, oh, hey, look at that. San Francisco. I think there's only 20-something million of these guys made. That's a low mintage coin there. That's really neat. Well, what has happened? We've stepped out of Philadelphia. I don't get it. Is that it for this row? There's another 2025 right there. The next row only had 1. It was a 25. So now we are 54 for 2025s, 60 2024s. They're up by 6. There are now 10 rolls to go, and we'll be done. This is the 3rd roll since that last one. I have 7 rolls to go. Here's a 1948. And S would be nice here because that's a semi-key date. And we're back to the Philadelphias. And in these last 2.5 rolls, I found no more 2025s and 10 more 2024s. Is that crazy? 70 of these now. They are just running away. It's weird. The last box at the end, the 25s kind of ran away with it. Not so, it seems, in this one. We'll go through the rest of this roll real quick together. I'd like to have run across a 2009. I've been watching. There's another 2024. That's pretty cool. And at the end of the row, another 2024. The next row had no 24s or 25s. I still have 6 rows to go. What do you think's going on here? I don't know what that is. Does that say 4 times 19? I don't even know if that's what it says. That's kind of what I'm seeing. No, I think it's more like a VX. I don't know. What do you guys think? That's kind of weird looking, ain't it? I think I put this in my oddball box. The next row put me at 4 more 24s. That puts me, folks, at 76 of the 24s. No more 25s. They've just stopped. But I have 5 rows left, and all I need is 4 more 2024s to have 2 full rows in this box. Oh my goodness. I'd say this customer row box was a good one. Well, the next row had 2 25s. That puts me up to 56 of those. And 3 24s, which puts me at 79. Just one away. Still got 4 rows to go. I'm feeling pretty confident. I just popped open the next row, and right there on the end is number 80. 2 full rows of 2024s. I just went ahead and finished out the rest of the rolls, and I came to this 1952, and it was a Denver. Only 30 million of these. Very low mintage on that one. We ended up with 56 2025s. Full row plus 16 more. We came up with 87 2024 Ps. Unbelievable. That is astounding. Plus a couple of pretty low mintage older ones. What a box. I never dreamed I'd find this many 2024s in a box. 87. No silver, nothing like that, so I'm just going to cut it off right here. I am so tired. It's 11:30. I don't even know if I'll get started editing tonight. Good night, folks.